Well, Sabbath greetings to everyone on an absolutely gorgeous Friday. Right now, still Friday afternoon, well before the Sabbath when I'm recording this, but it has just been a beautiful week here in Sussex. I hope it's been beautiful where you have been, where you've spent your week. I wanted to publicly say how much I appreciate everyone who participated, served at, enjoyed, was able to be there for the Happy Days Family Fun Weekend in Watertown. We had a tremendous weekend. I mean, I'm saying that as honestly as I know how. It was just a wonderful display of unity, of good, clean, wonderful fun, and I appreciate everybody who made that possible. And it was just so enjoyable. I was able to participate in, I gave the Bible study on Friday night, and that was enjoyable. And then, of course, Sabbath services there in Watertown. We had a nice crowd there. And then, of course, going back over there for the pancake breakfast on Sunday morning. So I had my younger brother and his family were here, and wow, did we have a wonderful time. I say hi to them. Hopefully maybe they'll get a chance to watch this as well, but it was great to have you guys here. We had a wonderful time. You can come back anytime. Really enjoyed having them here and getting to spend some quality time with them in this special occasion there. So thank you to everyone who served in that way, making that weekend possible. It was so neat with the way the food was the orders were taken by the car hops and then delivered to us. It was just wonderful, and I had a wonderful time, and just appreciate all the unity and the love and the support that everyone exhibited there. So I want to continue on with our series here on the fruits of the Spirit. I wanted to touch on a fruit that I think is an extremely important one. Of course, they're all important, that we can look at these things and determine how we're doing in these areas. Again, the whole point behind this is to hopefully to help us a little bit in our self-examination as we start to look at these fruits of the Spirit and try to determine how we're doing in these areas. One of these fruits that certainly we all appreciate in other people, but we need to ask how well we're exhibiting this fruit. That is the fruit of gentleness. Gentle. We do appreciate it when we're handled gently, with gentleness from others. I wanted to just go through a few things again. That's Galatians 5:23 is where gentleness is mentioned there as a fruit of the Spirit. God's Spirit in us, working in us and guiding and directing us, is going to produce this fruit of gentleness. You know, gentle is defined as considerate or kindly in disposition, amiable and tender, not harsh or severe, mild and soft. So when we think about our temperament, the way that we deal with people, the way that we deal with situations, can we say that we're gentle, that we're soft in that way, that we're not severe, but we approach people with gentleness and with a kindly disposition? Sometimes as men, we have to work very hard at this. Some, it comes a little bit more naturally, but not always. I've known a lot of men that I've admired and looked up to that I would certainly consider them to be gentle, gentle and kind in disposition. But if you ask them, a lot of those, a good portion of those men that have that character trait would tell you that they haven't always had it, that they weren't born with it. It wasn't the most natural thing for them, but they've had to develop that trait of being more gentle, not so severe and quick, but kind in disposition and gentle. And that's something, again, that men, we need to really be focused on that and try to examine ourselves in that way. Now, I've known some women too that can use some help in that area as well. It's not just for the men, of course, but all of us need to be growing in gentleness and that kindly disposition. That's a fruit as God's Spirit takes over our lives, as we continue to exercise God's Spirit, then we will be more gentle. Psalm 18 is a psalm of David. We admire David. He's one of the heroes of the Bible. We know that he's awaiting a resurrection at the first resurrection, and he's going to be over all Israel whenever he's resurrected as king. At that time, he's going to be king over all Israel. David wasn't always a gentle man. We know that, in fact, David was denied the opportunity to build a temple for God. And the reason being is that, David was a bloodthirsty man. And that was the reason that was given there. But, David had a perspective on God's approach to him. He appreciated the way that God approached him, even with his faults and his shortcomings. In Psalm 18, we learn in Psalm 18 and verse 35, Psalm 18 and verse 35, "You have also given me the shield of your salvation. Your right hand has held me up." See, a deep appreciation for what God was doing in his life. And lastly here, "Your gentleness has made me great." See, David's perspective, that's a great perspective. He knew that he had faults. He knew he had shortcomings. But he said, it's your gentleness. He understood the great God, and his gentleness toward him is what allowed him to be great and to accomplish all the things that he accomplished. And he was constantly giving God the credit for all of those things that he was able to accomplish. But it's very interesting there. He had that perspective, that it was because of God's gentleness towards him that he was able to accomplish so much in his life, despite all of those shortcomings and the faults that he did have. And so that's something that we can learn certainly from David, is to have that same perspective when we look at our relationship with God and the way God upholds us and blesses us despite our weaknesses and shortcomings. We understand that he is gentle towards us. It's a part of his very nature. In Proverbs 25 and verse 15, Proverbs 25 and verse 15 says, "By long forbearance a ruler is persuaded, and a gentle tongue breaks a bone." That's interesting, isn't it? A gentle tongue breaks a bone. Sometimes when we see a situation escalating, maybe we're on the line here, we're getting ready to enter what we might refer to as an argument, or we're seeing a situation escalate. Sometimes the best thing we can do is to speak a gentle word, or to be gentle in our response. A gentle tongue breaks a bone. And perhaps sometimes, maybe there's been a time in your life when you've been encouraged to kill them with kindness. That's sometimes what we tell others is, well, you have to kill them with kindness. Well, that's what this is sort of referring to here. This is the idea. A gentle word is more effective than arguing and fighting. To be gentle in that approach, and to take a back seat, and don't get sucked into an argument and get sucked into fighting in that way. A gentle tongue breaks a bone. Sometimes that's the very best weapon we can use, is to just be gentle. Take a gentle approach. That's a mature approach. That's an approach that shows that God's Spirit is in the lead in our lives. And that it does take maturity, and none of us do that perfectly, but that's why we focus on these things, so that we can grow. We can examine ourselves in these ways, and we can start to pray, Father, help me. I need to have a more gentle tongue. I need to have a kindly disposition. I don't want to be severe and harsh towards people. I want to be kind and gentle towards people. That's so much more effective. In Matthew chapter 11, Matthew 11 and verse 28 here, This is Jesus Christ speaking here, Matthew 11, verse 28. Come to me, all you who labor and are heavy laden, and I will give you rest. Take my yoke upon you and learn from me, for I am gentle and lowly in heart, and you will find rest for your souls. See, what can we learn from Jesus Christ? Well, we can learn. We're supposed to emulate him in every way. But he says here, learn from me, for I am gentle and lowly in heart, gentle and humble. And that's something, and again, a character trait of the great God. And there was something that he's certainly going to teach us in our lives, to be more gentle, to have that kindly disposition. It's something that we can learn from him, and we should be learning from him. I'm not going to turn there, but one final scripture is Philippians 4:5. It says, let your gentleness be known to all men. And so it's certainly something we want to take a look at. Is that something that I'm known for? When someone thinks of, well, that, fill in the blank, wow, he or she is such a kind and gentle person. Is that a way that we would be described? Well, I hope so. And so I hope you'll be giving some thought to these things this Sabbath. I hope you have a wonderful, profitable Sabbath wherever you are. And we will certainly look forward to, I'll be in Chicago, God willing, looking forward to Spokesman's Club and services there. My wife and family will be closer to home here in Milwaukee. My in-laws are in town. And you may hear them in the background here a little bit, but we're enjoying having them here very, very much. But we'll see the rest of you in the weeks ahead as we have the opportunity to get around and see everyone else. We love you all. Hope you have a great and profitable Sabbath. Take care.